Let's look at sketching and finding a discriminant and using the quadratic formula, the vertex formula, looking at a ton of things with the quadratic function. So I'm going to start by labeling this. This is ax squared plus bx plus c. The formula for the vertex is always negative b over 2a. So in this case, it's negative 3 over 2 times 1. So my vertex is negative 3 over 2, which is negative 1.5. The y value of that, I'm going to get that by plugging back into the original function. So I'm going to grab my calculator, and I have x squared plus 3x plus 3. And I'm going to replace all of those x's, so both of those x's, with a negative 1.5 in parentheses. So when I plug in f of negative 1.5, I'm doing negative 1.5 in parentheses squared plus 3 times negative 1.5 in parentheses plus 3. And my y value is 0.75. So my vertex is negative 1.5 comma 0.75. Now let's think about this value for a. A is 1, so it's a positive a. So this vertex is on a U-shaped parabola. It's opening up. So we can plot this on here. We have negative 1.5 and negative 0.75. Or positive 0.75. Negative 1.5, positive 0.75. And we're going to have a U shape. So do you think we're going to have any x-intercepts? No. But we're going to find the discriminant to see if that's true. So the discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. If we have a positive discriminant, there are 2 roots. There are 2 x-intercepts. If we have a 0 discriminant, there is 1 real root or 1 x-intercept. If we have a negative discriminant, then we have no real roots or no x-intercepts. So I'm going to have b squared, which is going to be 3 squared minus 4. AC is going to be 1 times 3. So I'm going to have 9 minus 12, which is negative 3. And negative discriminant means there are no real roots. There are no x-intercepts. We can see that by doing the quadratic formula. So the quadratic formula is negative b plus or minus the square root of 4 of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So for ours, our negative b is going to be a negative in front of a 3. Plus or minus the square root, and we want to remember we already calculated the discriminant. B squared minus 4ac, when we go to plug it in, we already found that that's negative 3 over 2 times a, so 2 times 1. Well, if you try to plug in to your calculator, what does the square root of negative 3 give you? It gives you an error. So there are no real numbers. There are none to find for this one. There are no x-intercepts to find, which matches kind of what we guessed, just thinking about the shape of the parabola being a U. We already found the minimum point was at 0.75, so it never crosses 0. You could plug in and find some y values by plugging into the original just to get a better sketch of this. So if you plug in 0 to this, the y-intercept should be up at 3. So we want to make it symmetric about that vertex, so kind of like over here. I would also have a y value of 3, and we're going to draw our parabola in there. There's our sketch of the function. You can also verify with a graphing calculator that this looks correct by plugging this function in as your y equals to see what it looks like.